Everybody, this is Jeremiah. It's JMan. JMan speaks, giving you a behind-the-scenes look. Behind the scenes look, okay? You're just going to see me for now, but then I'm going to set up the camera, and you're going to see what I see, my computer, the behind-the-scenes. We're using BeLive.tv to go live on Facebook, and actually today's topic is about using virtual agents and office assistants, that kind of stuff, taking it to the next level, helping build your business. But you're going to see how I use BeLive.tv to do Facebook Live and how we repurpose stuff and all that. So let me go the other way. Boom. Okay, and I got to adjust my little tripod here. So it's the most annoying thing when you go portrait with the tripod. Yeah, you don't know.
I know, I got mine right here, but I'm not using it. I'm using your...
I'm going to put my... Oh, shit.
Wait.
Oh. Oh, that's okay. This is like PG-13, the show. I mean, I had Lee Brown on. I had Lee Brown on one time, and she was cursing a little bit. That's okay. All right, I just wanted to get my Superman fluffy guy behind my computer. It's a good backdrop. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there we go. That's good.
I actually, you know what? I got this tripod after your thing in Wichita when you were talking about that stuff, like the checklist for
Emergency toolkit.
Yeah. And so I got this. I had a little stick, and I lost it though. I got most of the stuff that I wrote down notes. I took most of your advice.
Are you going back?
Checklist when I walk out for my bag of all the stuff, the backup batteries and everything. Good. That was an hour well spent.
Finally, somebody said it. Hold on, I'm gonna bring this.
Even though I came to Rochester, I was out of batteries, but that's beside the point. It doesn't count for the big trips.
Right. Let's see. I'm gonna bring this down. I'm gonna bring the thing down for a second. Bring us two like this. All right, you ready? Let's do this.
Yep.
Do. Where's that here? Oh, you can see my phone. Okay, that's better. All right. I forgot I'm live on Instagram. I can see everything that I'm doing. That's all right. It's behind the scenes. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeremiah. It's JMan Monero coming to you live with JMan Speaks, with JMan's Ed Talks, actually. Number 10 with my man Terrence Yonker from Orlando, Florida. Today we're talking about assistance, virtual, in-person, technology, apps, programs, just anything you can do to take your business to the next level. I just want to start out by saying this is the first time you've tuned in. If you like what you hear, share it, okay? Share it with the world. And as we're going through, if you comment below, in the comments below, you can comment auto agent, okay, VA stuff, any number of things. But what that will do is we'll send you an automated one sheet on virtual assistants, things to kind of help you with your business. But let's get started with introductions. Mr. Terrence Yonker, a.k.a. Terry, a.k.a. Automated Agent from Orlando, Florida. Thanks for being with us today, sir.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So just tell us brief, Reader's Digest version, your background, why you're the Automated Agent.
Well, I've been doing this now for 14 years, and after about 3 or 4 years, I found myself doing the same repetitive tasks over and over, going on a listing appointment, signing the same docs, uploading stuff on MLS. And I read all the books that said, you get to a certain level, you start building a team. So I did a first hire, and then that didn't work out, and a second hire, and third, and I started over again and thought there had to be a better way. So I started playing around with virtual assistants, and then my daughter was born. She's 6 now, and that kicked into high gear, and it wasn't playing anymore. Then I kicked it because I found myself doing stupid, repetitive stuff, and I didn't want to miss anymore. So I got serious about it, outsourced about 80% of my day-to-day real estate tasks to virtual assistants for $3 to $5 an hour. And you still work. We're not retired yet, but now I focus more on listing presentations, closing, building relationship, and a lot of the marketing and administrative stuff we have outsourced now.
Yeah. So just to recap, I met Terry a few years ago. I might be going on 5 years, I think now.
Yeah.
And his story really resonated with me because I'm the same way. I got 2 kids, 3 and 8, and it's like we spend so much of our day wasting time on stuff that makes us no money. Just like you said, repetitive tasks. And whether you're an agent who wants to do more business, or maybe you just want a better quality of life, meaning you're not wasting time on stuff that makes you no money. You waste the time, not waste the time, but invest the time on income producing activities. Then you go home when you want to go home and spend time with your family. And I think you and I are in the same boat there. But if it's somebody else who's a workaholic, no kids, do what you want to do, hey, you can work more, make more money, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's get into like when is the right time? Like at what point in somebody's career, I mean, hopefully if they're watching this, it's because they kind of have that question, like when is a good time? I feel like I'm busy, but I don't know. I feel like hiring somebody in my office is expensive. I know nothing about virtual assistants and I am not very familiar with technology. When's the right time?
Well, for everyone it's different. I was pretty hard and fast. Like for me, it was my daughter. It's missing that. For someone else, it might be that what am I doing at 10 o'clock typing up contracts or entering listings or whatever that click is. It's different for every person. And that's when, so you'll know. And then when you go into the next step, you just want to start outsourcing the things that are easiest. And if we tell you that entering listings is $3 an hour work, if filling out contracts is $3 an hour work, then when you get that realization, like, oh my God, I'm doing it. If you're doing it, you're working for $3 an hour. So
right.
It's more and I remember in black and white too, a big break point for me was when I went on a listing appointment the day before and I saw the caller ID, the guy was calling me the next day, which I thought correctly that you wanted me to list his house. And I was looking at it and I let it go to voicemail because on the other side, I had 3 listings that I had to put in and do all the stuff. And I couldn't think another one. So I was at my capacity. And I look back now, I'm like, this is the guy who wants to help me build my business, make more money, it's my career. And I'm putting him to voicemail because I've got to set up my photographer for 3 listings. And that was my break point. So I think every agent has something like that where they're thinking, what in the world am I doing? Not going to sign this listing because I have to line up my photographer for a couple listings. So that's when it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah, and I think for me, kind of along the same lines, like when you start to get stressed out, like you start to feel anxious, like, oh my gosh, I'm overloaded. I have so much to do. And if you really just took a second, just 1 second, take a step back, took out a piece of paper and said, here's all the things that I have to do. And then looked at, what do I have to do as the real estate expert, as the rainmaker, as the one who knows about real estate in my area? What do I have to do? That was an eye-opener for me, number one. Number two, when you start providing a lower level of service, meaning like maybe you don't get back to somebody because you forgot, like you meant to and you didn't call them back, or you were supposed to send that contract to the attorney and you're like, oh my gosh, and you need attorney approvals. Like when your business starts to suffer, and it's hard for us ego-driven people, like, hey, let's face it, some real estate folks sometimes are ego-driven, to say that our business is suffering because we're not taking the right steps to grow the business or put the systems in place. And I think just like you said, everybody's so different. Everybody's business is so different. So there's no blueprint that we can give them today, but we can give them all the options and kind of figure out what's right for them. So what was after you hired an in-office person, that didn't work for you, right? So
yeah,
talk to us.
I found out very quickly that I'm a crappy manager of people, and that's a skill you can build and everything else. But, most of us, if we're in this business, it's because we're relatively independent and that's just how we're built, and so
right.
I have to take the blame for every one of my several assistants that didn't work. And one, I was bailing out of jail so she could show up. And then I finally got the perfect one. Tell me if you've had this. You have the perfect one. She's working. Everything is wonderful. And her husband got a job transfer to the Virgin Islands.
Oh, man.
So there I am again at square one. So that's when I, with the virtual assistants started coming in where it's almost interchangeable, where like you said it before, JMan, with the systems. So I found I was missing, even with a good person, if you don't have the systems or the blueprint that you can, when they move for a job transfer, that you can't give to someone else, then you don't have a business. You have a hustle. And that's what I found, is that once my in-house person left, the third one, I realized I had a hustle, because I was there at square one. Everything was in my lap again. I was like, oh man, how am I gonna? And I didn't even realize what I did. You know, like, what was my 10 steps to prepare for a listing? I don't know. She knew, right? Like, so that's when you start realizing and you document. And so now we have systems and, you know, steps I can articulate exactly to you or to a customer, the 10 to 15 steps that we do to prepare for a listing. Once we get a signed listing, the 10 to 15 steps timeline, where you couldn't do it before. You just said, oh, my assistant handles, she's great, I love her, or him. And that's not a business, as I found out the hard way.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is like putting together an operations manual, right? Like any franchise, any business, real business that you invest in will have an operations manual. That's why McDonald's is so successful. You can buy one and you can make money day one. Not day one, but you'll make money because it's all documented. All the systems are in place. So what are the ways you kind of laid out your systems? Like, what are the 10 steps to a listing? What are the ways that you change it from active to pending? All the intricacies of your business. How was that? So you don't have to communicate it again and again. How did you do that?
Yeah, so that's when you get into the how. You know, like when we teach our CE course on this, it's rah-rah up until this point. It's like, I get that, but how do I get from this? Right. I don't even know what I do, you know? So it's really a simple 3-step process that we use and that we teach at Automated Agent. And the first one is, you know, no one wants to sit down and teach and do this. So the first step is just do video recordings, kind of like we're doing with your screenshot. We use a program called Screencast-O-Matic. Yep. But there are programs like Jing, any screen recording software where you just do. Because if I ask you, what are your 10 steps, 99% of the realtors aren't going to know. So what you do is get a real listing. So when you have a signed listing agreement, for example, then you just start doing and talking and say, okay, I log into the MLS here. Okay, now I go to the tax records to pull this parcel ID. Now I have to order pictures. So my photographer is Joe. I send an email to Joe. You have 3 days. So all these standards, that's what they are, standards. You know, the standard you have in your business. I demand that Joe and the photographer is out there in, say, 2 days or whatever. My pre-listing inspection happens within 2 days, and here's the number I call. So that's the first step. You record it all, and then you have one big mess, like a 30-minute recording, let's say. Then that's when the VA comes in, because if you're a halfway successful agent, you're probably not the type to sit down and, you know, it's a different skill set, right? Right. If you're out doing it. You're a get-it-done personality. You're not a get-it-right. Yeah. You know, you're not going to be the one typically to transcribe and do all that. So with that, you give it to your virtual assistant. That we can talk about that later, how to get them and what to do there. And then say, break this into the steps. Don't figure it out. Don't do anything. Just, you know, write down the 10 to 15 steps. The systems that I use, everything. And then you have the start of a manual. Then from that, you say, take that same video and put the screen grabs in there. You know, like from there where you pause it, do the snip, and then so that's a step they can put arrows in. And then the third step then, so first is record, second is do that. Then the third, just hand it to someone and test it out. Like you can give it to someone that's not, you know, doesn't know your business. Someone in the office, say, hey, I'll pay you, you know, $50. Can you enter a listing? Follow this. Don't tell them anything else. Right. Because then they can go through and say, oh, where do I get the login for, that's a step that you missed. And then that's how you refine it. So it's ultimately, now that sounds great and easy, right? Like 1, 2, 3, bing, bing, bing. But I think, you know, you need the iterations. Like you won't realize what you just do without realizing it. You won't realize, oh, of course, you just log into the, you know, my Dropbox. Well, what's the login and password? Oh, you don't have to, how do you know that all these things fit in until you finally have like a machine that's running. You just do that for each part of your business. You know, it's important to you. So let me just, the steps you have here. So the first one is record, like with Screencast-O-Matic or whatever. The second part of that would be transcribe or record what's being recorded. How do you want to put that? Document? Put that break into steps. Okay, break into steps. Break the video into written, actionable steps. Transcribe and make steps. And then the third is test it. Right? The third is hand it off and do. That's right. Okay. That's right. And want to bring this with somebody that doesn't know your business as intimately as you do, and they're going to ask questions that you would say, of course, you just log into, oh, it's not an of course, it's an of course to you because you've been doing it the same way for 5 years. And that's, you have blind spots that you don't even realize that you have.
Yeah, I think that's a great point there. Like when you're doing it, like if I were to just enter a listing, I'd be sitting here going, typing away, entering in the listing, but it's almost like you're online, like an online video diary going, okay, so now I'm going to go into my MLS, and in the MLS, I'm going to need my login and password, and then I'm going to make sure that I have all this information about the property. I make sure I have my public remarks. I make sure I have my private remarks, because we encounter the same thing. Like, I usually think of my public remarks and private when I get to that part of the listing. I wasn't used to doing it, right? Doing it ahead of time. And then I think this was another eye-opener for me. You mentioned this you outsource your remarks even, right? Like you have a person who's a writer, writes your remarks, right, for the listings?
Absolutely. And that's, like step 14. So you went through that exactly like I did. Like I go through and I would do the same thing. And I'm not a very good writer, but it's not my thing. I'm okay.
Right.
But that's when I said, hey, so now we back up. So as soon as that listing comes in, my VA sends them any kind of Zillow information, public records, what I want to emphasize on the property goes on to Fiverr, which is a site we'll talk about. And then my guy spits out within a day a nice description. And that's another part that I never, you just start piecing. Same thing with photographer, pre-listing inspection, remarks. This team that you can build without having a team, and it's pretty powerful. What we can do now as individual realtors that, only companies at scale could do before.
And I think it's important to recognize, like, you're the expert in real estate. You're not a copywriter. Like, you're not good at writing copy. You're not good at writing, period, or else you'd be a writer for a living. And I think too often I look at these remarks, and I don't know how many people can say that this property boasts, real cream puff. This one won't last. Like, come on, man. Like, do better. Do better. Our clients deserve better. So if you're not good at it, definitely doesn't hurt to give it away or delegate it.
The beauty of that one too is you can get analytic. I'm an analytic type guy, and so we start pulling from our Florida Realtor magazines. They did a study. What words sell, what words don't. Yeah. So we're not, again, just winging it. So when we send an order to my guy, he gets that article on the words that we want to use and words that we want to avoid, kind of like you're speaking to, Jeremiah, but it's analyzed. It's not just, I think it's like from Florida Realtors, this is a study that someone spent thousands of hours doing that we can benefit from. And then we give it, and they implement the words that we know, we don't guess, we know are work, that they work, and the ones that don't, we avoid.
Well, we have a special treat today. So do you want to kind of give the intro to who we're going to have another person on from the Philippines, correct?
Correct.
From the Philippines. All right, so Terry, I'll let you kind of do the intro, and then I'll bring her up to the screen while you're talking.
Yeah, sure. So happy to do it. When we started, I went on, again, sites that we'll show you before, onlinejobs.ph, that we're going to get into. I hired her and her husband at $3.50 an hour and basically built my business and documented everything. Little did I know I had such special people. They are so good at it. They now have a shop over there in the Philippines. They open an office, and they have 25 to 30 agents now that do administrative stuff. I was sad to lose them and myself, but now at least they can multiply their efforts. So now they have 25 to 30. They do administrative stuff. They do prospecting. They work for other industries. They have a full office, backup electricity, and backup internet, which to us in America doesn't sound like much, but in some of these countries, that's a big deal. And so Shine Labro is here, and her husband Nephi is the one that we worked with for, I guess it's been 7-8 years ago now that we started with, and now they're just cranking right along. Had a chance to visit them about a year or so ago. They were hosts, and got to see their home and their operation and everything. It was a real treat to finally see them in the Philippines. So, Shine, welcome to the show.
Hi everyone. So yes, my name is Shine. I was formerly Terry's VA marketing. I was in charge of marketing and personal stuff. So I did all that for him, booking tickets, booking rental cars when he's traveling. So I did all that kind of stuff. And I also did all the marketing through his CRM. So I was a VA for about 2 years, and Nephi was Terry's VA for about 4 years. And we decided, uh, because of Terry's idea, we decided to start a small team of virtual assistants,
Nice.
but we wanted to do everything right. So we decided we want to register our team and build a company. So VS is a registered outsourcing company in the Philippines. And yes, we started out with about 5 VAs. Most of them were from clients preferred by Terry. And now we do have a growing team of 25
Oh, wow.
virtual assistants. So I
Wow,
would love to bring
congratulations.
around their office operations, but most of them are on lunch.
Okay.
And right now we are operating using the second floor and the third floor of this building. So we separated those people who are doing calls, and we separated the ones who are usually doing the admin stuff, so they don't get distracted, because
That's nice.
some of the general VAs would complain, oh, the ISAs are very noisy, so we had to separate them into two floors. So the
They're
IAs,
closing time. We want that. We want them on their closing. They're closing FISBO
yes,
appointments.
that's
They're
right,
Yeah.
closing
that's right.
fire departments. That's what we like, right? So
She's
they dig
setting
it.
appointments. So they wanted to be separated from the general VAs too. They didn't wanna they didn't want this team distracting them from doing administrative stuff. So yeah. So right now we do have two group of virtual assistants. Most of them, I mean, real estate virtual assistants. So one group are general admin VAs, so they help out with their clients with preparing listing documents, advertising, managing social media, managing their emails, all kind of back office stuff. And the other group, they're mostly focused on the ISAs. They're mostly focused on following up with clients. They do a little bit of admin stuff, but mostly following up with clients and um, setting appointments like expireds, FISBOs, just told. So everything that a normal realtor would do when prospecting. It's just that, of course, they're not licensed. But yeah, yeah. So that's what we mostly do here. Yeah. So it's been a great journey with Terry. Without Terry, we wouldn't have built VS, and VS is actually it stands for virtual assistants. So we came up with this idea because of Terry. So we're very grateful, and our
Yeah,
team is very grateful too.
Terry's a great guy. So just a couple questions, and hopefully we have some folks that might ask some questions that are watching live. But as far as the folks who are doing like the follow-up calls and the calling on FISBOs and expires and stuff like that, is there any kind of language barrier challenges there? You know, like, do people ever ask where are you calling from, or because I'm sure that's in the back of people's minds who are watching right now. Like, how do you handle that?
Well, so far right now, we haven't encountered that particular issue yet, because usually when a client wants an ISA, like someone to do the calls for them, we would hire someone who is better when it comes to verbal communications.
Yeah.
With general VAs, we do have a lot of general VAs who are not very competitive when it comes to their verbal communication skills, but they're good at writing
Right.
and they're good at doing admin stuff. So we hire them for general VAs. But when someone needs an ISA from us, we usually make sure that we usually hire someone who already has a BPO experience, because, as you know, the Philippines is the number one. I think we're still the number one outsourcing country in Asia. So most of we have a lot of talents here who came from call centers, from big contact centers like Convergys, Accenture, those large companies. So the good thing about VS is we are located in a small city, and A lot of talents here in San Carlos would usually visit the capital cities in Manila or Cebu or other big cities in the Philippines to get employed. But we are the first um, legal outsourcing company in the city. So we brought the outsourcing or the contact center company in the city. So most of those who are from the city who used to work in capital cities like Manila and Cebu, they went back home. So most our employees now, they used to work for big contact center companies, and then they went back home to be with their families and applied as virtual assistants at VS.
Nice. Okay. So what kind of technology, because this is the other thing I know is people are thinking about, like they're so used to having somebody in the office that they can just come in, talk to. What kind of technologies, and maybe Terry, you can chime in on this as well. What kind of technologies do you guys use to communicate just as if you were, right next door rather than across the world?
Usually it's Skype.
Skype?
When we were with Terry, when he wants to throw tasks to us, he would throw it through Skype. If he doesn't have the time to type, he would record himself giving instructions and send it to Skype. But some of our clients are also using WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, okay.
As mode of communication, but most of them Skype. I think that's the most convenient way to do it because you can also do video calling on Skype and send out video messages.
Yeah, and that's one of the hacks that really, when you start getting used to that, you'll never go back. So, a lot of us don't type or things come up in the day.
Yeah.
When you can just grab your phone, record, and say, hey, Shine, I just met with Joe Smith. They're thinking about listing in 4 days. Put them on the, hot seller program and send them his kids graduate and send them a gift. His address is in the CRM. Thanks. Click, and you go about your day. Like, how powerful does that get? And that Shine and FI are just capturing all that. And, after every meeting, that's what's powerful and addictive. That's probably the most addictive thing, just knowing that they're there waiting. They're
Right.
working, and then boom, it gets done because we forget. I forget. I can speak for myself. I forget stuff. So that's the most addictive part.
And so what kind of, besides that, how do you know, being the person here, Terry, the agent, what you delegated for the control freaks that need to know when things are done? I would feel confident that if I delegated something to Shine, she's going to take care of it. I don't have to worry about it. It's done. But there's that other personality type out there that's like, well, I need to know. I need to know everything that's going on. What kind of system is there in place, or what do you use for that? Do you use a Google Keep or Slack or anything? Evernote? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's where, again, as I've used other people as well with virtual assistants, you're absolutely right. That's one where, wait, I put this in. Why isn't this done? So all this in conjunction with a good CRM is crucial, because the step is with what, like I just said, say, hey, send them a gift for their kid that's graduating.
Right.
The next step is not to do that. Okay, the next step is to enter it into the CRM so that I can see it. And then, because there's going to be, when you go crazy and you start rapid firing tasks, prioritization becomes key. And that's advanced. I'm glad you asked that question, JMan, because that's the next step. So now you go crazy on this, and we start giving somebody 5, 10 tasks. What's the most important? I got a listing appointment in an hour, but you're entering CRM data, right? So that goes into the CRM. We use RealVol. We've used Wise Agent in the past. A great one that we use for project management is Asana.
Oh, yeah.
That's a game changer as well.
Asana.
So the next step is not to do. Your VA puts it all in, and then you can prioritize, with the daily meeting, or you can even say, hey, this is task A1. This goes now ahead, so that they know what to do, and then they can just go through, and then you can see it checked off or not. There's no gray. It's either there or it's not there and checked off. And we had it in Wise Agent where, when you get done with the task, the VA checks it and it shows up with a line through it. They are not allowed to delete it, because only me as the agent, I can go through and see that it's done, and then I clear them, so that, like you say, for control freaks, we know that it's done.
Well, and it's just, I think for peace of mind, in the beginning, for everybody, I'm just going to put this up here, CRM or Asana. It's ASANA for task management, or Slack is very popular as well. But I think just for peace of mind in the beginning, for those who are used to having somebody in the office, that first few months is like you're learning to trust each other, right? Like you're learning to trust that maybe this actually will work, because we're so skeptical sometimes. We're our own worst enemies. Like there's no way that somebody from across the planet can do what somebody in the office could do. And I think we know that's not true, right?
Right.
So, Shine, anything else you want to add? I'll let you get back to work.
Yeah, right now I'm actually helping out our virtual assistants. Some of them are new with their clients, so we work as a team. When someone is experienced with this particular tool, we would help the other one. So right now I'm also helping another one. We just got a new client signed up, so I'm helping her out. But yeah, I hope I know that for realtors who didn't have any experience with working with virtual assistants, you think it could be something that's difficult, something impossible. But once you get the hang of it, once you realize what your virtual assistants can do, especially taking that time away, doing all the admin stuff, prospecting, if there's something that someone else can do for you, so you can focus on what matters most on your business, we do highly recommend getting a virtual assistant to help you out with that.
Okay.
And I'm sure life would be a lot easier for you.
Nice. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, and we're gonna plug your company in the comments of the video, so that if anybody's looking to hire a virtual assistant, now they've met you, they've heard you, they've interacted with you, they'll feel comfortable hiring your company. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Shane. Bye.
All right, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's so, well, in real estate especially, seeing is believing, right? So that's why I so wanted to have them on the show, because it's like we could be like, yeah, Bert, it's easy, but then they see, boom, she hops on, we can have a conversation, she talks about everything that they do. It's so much better than just talking about it.
Yeah, no, she let the cat out of the bag there when she got into, I started going bonkers on this stuff, and she was doing all my personal stuff. So I would even now, I still do it, but it started with her. I said, hey, I want to play tennis here, my guys. I just line up tennis for me next week.
Right.
And then if I got a rental car, I'm going up to Rochester. Can you just get a good plane ticket, get my rental car up there set up, and we're staying at the Technopalooza. It's once you go down the road, it's addictive, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, like when I get in there. So it's, and you see they're confident, college-educated people, they're just great. It's once you go, it's hard to go back.
So we got a question from Carlos here, Carlos Amayas. It just got connected. How much are the fees? So you want to just touch on that besides the hourly fee, like setup and that?
Absolutely. So there's two ways you can go again with virtual assistants. Like when I started with them, I hired them directly, home-based, with all that entails. That meant crying babies, internet outage, just like a home-based person. And with that, you go one-to-one, and you can get them I pay a flat $500 a month full-time, which works out to about $3 an hour. And they're there full-time. They're sitting there. They're ready, and they're going through your checklist, and they're at home. But again, it's working in their bedrooms, and it's that dynamic. No backup internet. They have internet. They have electric outages over there sometimes. So all that's wrapped in.
Right.
Or you can go the next step to where it's someone like Shine in their shop, where they have an office, backup generators, backup internet. They're supervised, the SOP, their experience, and that's still only about $10 an hour. And you can get them as close as 20 hours a week, which is a minimum wage, I think, in New York. I don't know what it is.
It's less than New York is $12.50, I think, right? Something like that. $12.50 now.
Is it? Yeah. So less than minimum wage, you still have people that can do all that stuff, and Shine supervises them, trains them. You got a little taste of it. So it's just a matter of what step you want to enter in. And if you want to just start with a $350, just to it's really for you. They can do it. It's clear the whole system's there, but it's more for an agent. Say, hey, let me try to spend 20 or 50 bucks just to try this out and have a conversation like I just did with Shine and JMan did. It's a great way to start. So yeah, so $350 to $10, but no more than $10.
And I I think, people ask, okay, so what's my very first step? Because we can say, this is what you got to do, just call them. Well, before that, what do I do? Because some people they get paralyzation from analyzation. Then they start going, I want to think about all the different companies that are out there, and let me weigh the pros and cons, and blah, 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 blah. I think the first step for most folks would be just to journal what you do in a week, right? I mean, you could maybe add to this, but just take a little diary or whatever and say everything that you do every single day and how much time it took you. It will boggle your mind how much time you waste on stuff that's not real estate related or stuff that really you can delegate, stuff that you could get off your plate. And it sounds scary when you look at it, because then you're like, man, I'm really only working 2 hours a day, on stuff that makes money. The rest of the time I'm going, oh, let me organize my desk, or, oh, I had coffee with the guys at the office. Oh, I had a lunch meeting. Things, you may want to have lunch, obviously, but it's not income producing. Would you say that's a good first step, kind of figure out what you do every week?
That's a good first step, to write down, or even record something.
Or record,
do repetitively, just so you're right, JMan, just so you have something to grasp, because we want you to take a baby step. And to what you're talking about, income producing activities, what I do, Floyd Wickman training, and that's what, if you're on track and you have 3 listing appointments a week, then go ahead, play with the font, the colors of your postcards, and everything else that you want to do.
Right.
But if you are not on track and you're not prospecting and you haven't had your 3 listing appointments a week, then that's your gauge, because you're right. It's kind of great. What am I even doing, right? What's the income? I'm fiddling with this. So that's a good gauge. You have the luxury of fiddling with your postcards and everything if you're on track and you made your 3 listing appointments.
Yeah, or if it's something, what we always say, if it's something that's therapeutic in a way, like some people, like Brent Lancaster, when we were talking the other day, and he's like, I love cutting my grass. Like for him, cutting his grass, it's like an hour where he can just zone out and it's relaxing. For me, I like to get my car washed. It's so strange. I like to get my car washed and like clean the inside, and I feel like clean car, clean mind. Like I could have somebody do that, of course, but me doing it is therapeutic, right? It's almost like a zen, if you will. So yeah, totally. So let's say how do they analyze kind of like how much of that is virtual, and what if they have they want to do like a hybrid model? Like for us, we have an operations manager. Her name is Amy. She's fantastic. She's going to be with us until she's old and gray. And I'm not just saying that because she's behind me. But we're kind of working on, like, we want her to concentrate too on high level stuff and figure out what she can delegate and get off her plate. What can we delegate for her at $3 to $5 an hour? So like, what's the next step? What's the next level?
Well, the next level, again, having gone through, basically everyone can arrive at the same spot, or you can take a shortcut. And kind of where we are right there. That's tedious work, but it's so important, because now your sphere is hearing from you every couple of weeks, or posting, get seen your Facebook, but whatever it is, that's usually a good first step, because I can't tell you how many times we've, talked to agents that are going down this route because they're busy. It's kind of like you said, JMan, there are things we know we should be doing, but we're not. And that's usually it, because it's not right now stuff. You get this hot Facebook lead and you're jumping all around, but right. What about Mr. and Ms. Havenbush that you sold a house to 3 years ago? They're ready to move, and they like you, trust you, respect you, but they haven't heard from. So that's what I would recommend, a first step, getting into the people that you've already put in the legwork, reap the rewards. You've already built a relationship. All those years of toil, you have that's really, at the end of the day, that's your business, right? Your database and people that you work with. So that would be a great first step, clean that up.
Yeah, I think we always say that too, like, your database is the lifeblood of your business. Like, that is your business that 30 years from now, if you want to retire and sell something, right, it's your database. It's your people that you've worked with who like, know, and trust you, and who will trust anybody that you then hand your business off to for future, for the future. That's something that's tangible and can be sold. And I think a lot of agents don't think like that. They just think they're just going to list until they are ready to die or become, realtors don't die. They just become listless, right? That's what we always say.
Right.
You just kind of fade away. But I think it's, if you want to have an exit strategy and get your investment properties and invest in real estate and then sell your, the database, that's definitely a great point that I think Almost every class I talk about, we talk about databases. Man, it's like really,
Yeah.
it's nothing more important.
Well, there's a lot of right now business in there too. And that's always a big surprise. You get in there and all of a sudden it's cleaned up and scheduled. You're scheduled to just make 5 hello, how are you calls. Oh, I was just thinking about you. Oh, hey, are you? I mean, that's business. That's context, and you still have to do it. It says that, hey, give it all my VM, I'm gonna go play golf.
Right.
They do the 85%, but there's still that one thing that you have to do, which is just, hey, did you know that there's are you going to the festival this week that's coming to town? Yeah, we're gonna be there. How are the kids?
Mm-hmm.
That lock that they're not going to list with anyone else, or when their people come to town, they're thinking of you. There's a lot of right now business in there, and that's what Floyd Wigman teaches. That's the sphere from Keller Williams. That's the whole.
Yeah, Brian Buffini, same thing.
Yeah, Brian Buffini. The whole thing is based in that court.
So what about like the technology side of it? So like, let's say somebody is really not quite there. Like before I decided to do the assistant route, I went to technology, right? I was always like, man, there's got to be an app. There's got to be something. There's got to be a program that can help make my life easier here. And just to give everybody an example, if you comment on the broadcast, Auto Agent, we have a messenger bot that's going to reply back automatically with a one sheet with virtual assistant information for you. Or you could message our page the same message, and again, it would auto reply. So it's a way to just streamline, not having to do work makes me more efficient. Like I could have said years ago, send me an email, with automated agent in the subject line, and I will reply back with this handout for you. And then now I've made more work for myself, another 15, 20 emails I have to reply to, where now I could just say it, and then the robots do it automatic. Right. What else do you kind of have implemented to kind of help you streamline systems, programs, apps, that kind of stuff, besides your CRM that you mentioned, like Wise Agent and the other one?
I'll set up a softball for you, with one of them where we couldn't do it with virtual assistants as well. With the app does it better, and that app is called Showing Time.
Ooh,
I don't know
yeah.
if you have Showing Time up in your MLS.
Yep.
But it integrates with your MLS. It sets up showings. They have live people in Chicago setting up your showings. They follow up for feedback, and then they give you, they aggregate the results. I had my VAs doing this, and I couldn't compete. It's only $39 a month for 8 listings. So, and like all these things, as you start going through, you're right, JMan. Like in that case, an app, there's nothing that can beat nothing, because the app and tail has so much in it. So
yeah.
that was the layup. That's fantastic. So anyone who's not doing Showing Time, and you're doing your own showings, anyway,
I'll just to echo that. If you're in the greater Rochester area, we have Showing Time for free. It's a value add as part of your membership at the board, and there's still people who aren't using it, who sit in my class and they go, I'd rather do it myself. And it's like, no, you shouldn't. And if you look at what the client, because it's all about the client, right? What do they value most? And when the NAR looks at it, nowhere on the survey is even agent scheduled my showings. It doesn't even exist on the survey. Like, they could care less. They just want their property to be shown. And there's no way that anybody could say and prove it to me that they can schedule their showing better than a showing service can. Right? Would you agree? Because the agent can go online or call, right? And then they call, text, and email the seller, and whichever one replies back the fastest is how it gets confirmed. And then there's a feedback form that's sent out the instant that they show the property, and that gets copied into your clients. Like, it's so fantastic. Like, I don't know why you would spend, 10, maybe 30 hours a month that you get back just from not having to take those phone calls.
Absolutely. And as a buyer's agent, just think of, how frustrating it is when you're trying to show something and then, I do it all. I mean, but that's how we're built. Like,
right.
Even though it hurts or crushes our client, and it keeps us busy, sometimes you like to feel busy. So these are the things that
you like to feel busy,
you really
right?
have to have a heart with yourself.
Right.
And let go. And, JMan, I can give you these nuggets, but ultimately, you got to implement some of them. And they've already done the hard work. Showing Time in your Rochester Board of Realtors already paying the bill. So just use it. I don't know how it could be any easier. But some of the tools, there's the if we start at the base level is, if you Screencast-O-Matic is free, put the stuff on when you do your documentation. Do it on Word or Google Docs. Again, free. Well, Word costs, but Google Docs for free. Initially,
Right.
and then once you take, and even a basic CRM like Wise Agent is like $29 a month. You can do that. So very easy, very light. Then as you take that next step, you move into a CRM like we use RealVault now that has built-in workflows that are built for the hand off and go.
Is it RealVault? You said
RealVault CRM. RealVault. RealVault.
Volve. I'm gonna spell this wrong.
We just migrated to them because they're built for hands off to a virtual assistant. And our online manual now, we use an app. It's a program called Screen Steps. And why we like Screen Steps so much is because it actually has a module for if you're in Asana, if you're in your CRM, if you're in whatever you're in and there's a task and you don't know how to do it, you click the extension in Chrome and it comes down and says exactly how to do it. You go right back to your workflow. Because one of the things we were finding is we could never find
really
to be done and then how to do it. We had two programs kind of
so,
floating around.
Hold on, stop right there because this seems so cool. Yeah. I don't want to kind of glaze over it. So Screen Steps, tell me again slower because I want to understand if you're in a step and you don't know what's going on. Like explain that again, please. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, Screen Steps. So explain that one more time.
So you have a CRM, whichever one you're using, I don't care,
yeah.
or Asana, and there's 10 steps, for example, how to prepare for a listing. You fill in the docs, send them a pre-listing pack, whatever it is. And you make an online manual in a program called Screen Steps. You log on and it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where you make the detailed videos, the photos, the arrows on how to do the process.
Okay.
Right? Which I told you could do it on a Google Doc initially, which is where you go over and get your manual, like the old-fashioned manual, right?
Yeah.
This program, you do it online, and then with the extension in Chrome, all you do, so when you're in your CRM and it says send a pre-listing pack, just one line in a check thing, and you don't know what does that actually mean? How do I send a pre-listing pack? You click that Chrome extension with Screen Steps and type in send pre-listing. And then it comes up and tells you right in the screen exactly step by step how to do it. And I like it because it goes across platforms. So then if you're in your CRM, but then you go into a checklist like Asana for your personal life, that's how I separated my personal and Asana. And it says reserve tennis for the guys. How do I do that? So you click on that little thing, reserve tennis, and it says how it's built.
So is it a program or is it screensteps.com? How do they get there?
Screensteps.com.
Okay.
And this integration has been the holy grail for us because we would have checklists, which are all beautiful, and a lot of CRMs have checklists that are, it's great, but how do you keep standards of how to do that checklist? And I was always baffled. And I guess companies, big real estate teams do it without a link. It's just like check on the loan docs or send a pre-listing pack, and that's it. So with this was the connection where in the same screen, send pre-listing pack. Here are the 10 steps so that you can hand it to a VA. You can hand it to an assistant and have anybody do it because it's documented there. And all in the same context because keeping two separate, to be honest, keeping that Word doc, that's why I say it's the first step, it's not the holy grail because keeping a Word doc in sync with your checklist was a challenge as we grew and this solved that challenge.
Okay. Anything else?
I get excited about it. I start ranting and raving. So
No. This is such good stuff because it's the minutia. It's the details that matter. Because if we just glaze over and go, here it is, yeah, go do it, then people are going to get stuck on these little steps that you've already found these pain points and found a solution for. So it's important that I want you to go off on those tangents because it helps us to better understand. What about like the calendar side of it? So are they using Google Calendar and they're just putting stuff in your calendar and that kind of stuff? Is that how it works, or what are you using?
Yes, Google Calendar, and Google is the backbone of all of our stuff because everything syncs with Google. Right. My phone. I even have gone to now Pixel, all Google, and the CRM sync with it. It's kind of like the backbone of the business. So yeah, we use Google Calendar. and the CRMs can sync with Google Calendar as well, or you can go native with it. And then again, I have them check every day for conflicts. So things start getting scheduled and, things start getting crazy. One of the tasks at 4 p.m. every day is they go in and they look 7 days out to make sure there are no overlaps. My wife shares my calendar, so she'll put in like, we have to go to the recital at 6, but I had scheduled an appointment at 6. So that's one of their daily tasks, because again, they can just get crazy. So she'll say, hey, which one do you want to move? And of course, whichever one that my wife did not put in is the one that gets moved. So that's how we do it.
In every household, I believe, Terry. So, going along with that with Google, so like any kind of documents, pictures, like listings that you want to put in, all that gets, like, your photographer goes, takes pictures, then uploads to like Google Drive. They have it on their end, download it, input the listing, right?
We send them a link that shares for the listing, and
Right.
They have it, they upload it, it's ready. We've already said with our MLS, we have standards on the order of the pictures and what we want to start with the front and go in and So that level of detail is in there. And then, yeah, absolutely, they share, and then we can share links and do whatever we want. Same thing with the description.
Okay. And then Okima, who's watching right now, she says, I'm driving, so I can't write all the systems he's going over. Will this be sent via email, or where could I find it? What we'll do is anything additional that's not on the VA handout that you requested, I'm sure Terry could just do a Word doc real fast of everything or have a VA do it for him. And we'll post it in the comments just as a downloadable link, or just a PDF there, so you can have it.
Yep.
Again, because we're doing this to help you guys out. We're not charging. At the end of this, there's no sales pitch. I'm not going to go, hey, and you too can work with Terry for $9.99. Like, that's bullshit. We don't do that stuff. Come from a position of value. We're just here to help each other out, and appreciate you taking the time from your golf game and your tennis, golf and tennis. What else did they do down there? Get a tan.
Yeah. I wish they were all golf and tennis. We're getting there.
So is it warm right now?
Yeah, we're back up into our normal 60.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice. All right,
it's good for business. I'm like taxes up there and snow. There's nothing better for our business. Yeah, tell them to keep. We want more big government up there. It's great for business. We want more snow.
That's
Both
funny.
of those are great for our business. So come on down. Whoever's watching, come on down.
All right. Anything you want to add here at the end?
Just to have the boldness of taking that first step, that little thing that you're going to outsource, even if you have Shine, and any way we can help, even if it's a little thing, to have somebody do for you, and put that reason why you're doing it, because all forces are going to push you to do things the way you've always done. I have my picture of my daughter there. Maybe a picture of your spouse, or the island that you want to go, or whatever it is, the gym that you want to do more of, or whatever it is. You have to put that there, because it's going to be like nails on a chalkboard, forcing that first thing. But keep that big why there, so that you can just do a little bit at a time, and you'll get there.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing. You can see kind of behind me, I got my kids behind me too. Same thing. So every day when you don't want to make that call, you don't want to make that video, or you don't want to delegate what you feel like you need to have control over, like, be like Elsa, man. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
That's another Orlando piece.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Bring the kids down. We got Elsa down here. I'll make you lose.
We'll be down soon, man. I really appreciate it. And again, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you want to get a one sheet with virtual assistant information, just type auto agent or automated agent. Either one will work. In the comments below, we'll reply back with a one sheet, and we're going to do an additional one with all the good stuff that Terry brought to us today, all the nuggets. So thanks again, Terry.
All right, thanks, JMan.
Have a good day, everybody. Make it a great day.
All right.
And we're out. Let me just say bye to Instagram as well. Hey everybody, it's Jeremiah, it's JMan Monero. If you're still watching, thank you for tuning in. That was behind the scenes. If you want to see the full video in its entirety, the way somebody would see it on Facebook, obviously it's much better. It's a full screen experience. Go to facebook.com/JManSpeaks. I'm going to try to download this behind the scenes, but this will also be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/JManSpeaks. So thanks again. Make it a great day.